all. It not pretty, no. It not pretty, no. It's not pretty at all. It's not pretty at the Reggae Boyz camp right now. We're on the back of a 3-0 defeat to Panama at the National Stadium after a horrendous performance, really, that didn't warrant anything whatsoever. And quite frankly, I'd be surprised if Theodore Whitmore makes it to the weekend. The only reason I can see behind him making it to the weekend is the mere fact that Paul Hall cannot travel to Costa Rica to take over for that game. And as a result, he'll need someone to be there. And that's how I can actually fathom Theodore Whitmore actually making it to the weekend with a job. I think Jamaica against Panama at the National Stadium was one of the hardest watches in a while, really. Across the two games against Panama and Mexico, we averaged 31.5% ball possession. We've had 5 shots on goal. 5 shots on goal, folks. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And in a team that boasts the likes of Mikel Antonio, Kemar Roof, Corey Burke, Shamar Nicholson, all these guys who are supposedly fantastic in front of the goal, we have to look elsewhere, because I can't think to myself at any point whatsoever saying, okay, it's a matter of players. Based on individuals, I think Jamaica has one of the finest squads across CONCACAF as things stand now. And we'll keep reiterating it. It may very well be our golden generation, but it's not a good look right now. It's not a good look. I think Theodore Whitmore is far out of his depth right now. His ideas, everything, it's backwards. We're not seeing the team trying to play football whatsoever. And folks will come on and they'll say, Jamaica doesn't have a playing style. Theodore Whitmore has a B license. All of that argument. I think he did what he could, and he's exhausted his capabilities when it comes down to this squad of players. I think it was an atrocious showing. The only positive I can take from this game is that there weren't any fans, and as a result, no one had to pay to watch it at the National Stadium. And personally coming from Hanover, being a native of Hanover, I am happy that my colleagues who usually travel across the country to watch the game in Kingston, they weren't allowed to do so today. So that's the only positive I can take away from the game. I think it was an abysmal showing. Jamaica may very well not make it to the World Cup, and someone even messaged me saying it seems as if we won't even get to see Jamaica go to the World Cup again in our lifetime. And being someone who was born in the early 90s, we remember in splurts what happened at the 98 World Cup. We haven't actually sat down and watched a full World Cup where Jamaica is taking part, and it seems as if the wait is going to continue. So it begs the question, are we fighting a lost cause? As the name of this episode states, is it a lost cause? Is it fighting in vain? Are we basically placing our hope in a vacuum then? Because Theodore Whitmore, if we're placing our hopes in Theodore Whitmore, might as well place it in a vacuum, because he's not ready for this yet. He's not ready for this. And that is me putting it as mild as possible. My colleagues, especially Ryan LFC, he is hosting his post-game reaction now, and I know he's venting because he's been calling for Theodore Whitmore to face the sack for the longest while. And I'm not one to beg for coaches to be sacked, because I know people have families to feed, they have a livelihood, they have all of that. But when it comes to football, it's a result-driven business. Yes, that's right. It's a result-driven business. We hire you because we want results, and you're hired by the people. So don't you feel for a minute or a moment that it's a JFF. You're hired by the people because the football team is for the people. So the mere fact that we're getting this performance and the JFF is backing you and saying your job is safe and all of that, it is basically instigating us to revolt and us to cause a carnage, really. And myself, along with the other vloggers, I know they'll be releasing videos at daybreak tomorrow morning calling for Theodore Whitmore's head. And I think I don't even want to go too much into it. I want you, the viewers, to let me know what you think in the comment section. What do you think of this game? Personally, I think the game was maybe a 3.5 out of 10. I think that is even me being generous to the Reggae Boys. I can't pull on one player who was good for the Reggae Boys for the most part, and playing against Panama, one of the worst Panama teams in quite some time. And I know Panama has been the team that has always been beating the Reggae Boys, or we found it difficult to beat Panama in recent years. I think overall we've only beaten them 3 times. The last time coming in maybe 2017 in the Gold Cup. Don't remember quite exactly when, but I know we've only beaten them 3 times in recent history. At the last 7 meetings, we've only beaten them once, and that was in the Gold Cup, as I mentioned. So again, it's not motivating. It is basically pulling all the energy out of us. And again, I think Theodore Whitmore's tactics, they are as potent as someone using a BB gun to take down an elephant. That's what I think of it. And I don't want to be that guy, because as I said, I understand that folks have livelihood, but at the end of the day, we want to qualify for the World Cup. We have some of the best players right now. I can't think of another time where we've had such a good batch of players. And quite frankly, I can't even foresee in the future when we'll have another batch of players like the one we have now. Right? Imagine we had Mikel Antonio on the field with Ravel Morrison, Kemar Roof, Corey Burke, all these guys we had on the field at once, and nothing, no vision whatsoever. I think up until maybe the 35th minute, we had 80-something passes, and that was for that period, it was the most passes we've strung together in quite some time. I think the Mexico game for the entire first half, we had 60 passes. So quite frankly, in 37 minutes or 35 minutes, we had more passes than for an entire first half against the Mexican team. And again, as I said at the top of the show, we averaged 31.5% ball possession across the 2 games. So we realize that Theodore Whitmore is not even trying to play football. He's trying to park the bus and then hoping that someone pops up with a moment of brilliance. And it's not always the case, It's not always, it won't always work out that way, because if teams realize what you're doing, then they're going to counter that, right? And Jamaica getting a thumping from Panama, one of the worst Panama teams, Los Canaleros, right? One of the worst Panama teams that we've seen in quite some time. And it's the same thing with the Mexican game, I know for the Mexican game, I personally came on here and I said, I do not expect Jamaica to get anything out of the Azteca, because we know the Azteca is a difficult place to go, right? Jamaica, we couldn't bring our full squad because of the COVID restrictions and all of that. So it was understandable. The excuses, they were understandable. We could see through it. We could say, okay, these players didn't get to go, so we're not going to be too hard on Theodore Whitmore. That player didn't get to go, so we'll give him a free pass this time around. But what will be the excuse now? What will be the excuse now? Someone tell me. What will be the excuse now? What will be the justification for this abysmal performance at the National Stadium that the Reggae Boys just gave? I need to know, because I can't see an excuse that will justify that insult to football that I just watched, right? And I spoke about the game against Mexico. I didn't even come on here and do a review. I didn't do a review because I thought to myself, we didn't expect much from it. And in the moment when you're emotional, you try not to come on platforms like this and do videos, because then your emotion clouds your judgment. But quite frankly, I have eliminated all emotions from this analysis. And if you think my analysis is unjust, please let me know. And if you have something to counter the pointers that I'm putting forward, please let me know as well. Because I would like to see someone who will be coming forward after this performance that Theodore Whitmore sent the guys out to give in, and say Theodore Whitmore deserves to be the coach of Jamaica's national team. You'll say we don't have anyone better. You'll say the federation is strapped for cash, and as a result, no one will be coming in to coach a national team because we can't afford it. But at what expense are we going to allow our football to be driven into the ground? Let me know. At what expense? Because right now, having this batch of players and not being able to qualify for the World Cup will be the biggest failure in football history for Jamaica, right? The biggest failure, in my opinion. The preview to the game, I said we have Mikel Antonio. Mikel Antonio is the hottest property across Europe right now. 4 goals, 3 assists across 3 games in West Ham in the English Premier League, which is the most competitive league on planet Earth. We had that guy kicking at ear in the National Stadium. There was no service to Mikel Antonio. And in the watch along, I mentioned it as well. No link between defense and midfield, no link between midfield and the strikers. And as such, we have 3 different sets of players playing individual football. So instead of playing a team game, it's 11 individuals out there hoping that someone pops up with a moment of brilliance. It doesn't work, and it didn't work. And as such, I think Theodore Whitmore should be shown the door. At this moment, I think if Whitmore gets a team with Lionel Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo, Gigi Donnarumma in goal, Sergio Ramos in defense, I think Verratti in midfield, Paul Pogba, whoever it is that he gets, I think the result will be the same because he is just not up to par with where international coaching should be. And I'll go even farther and say he is not ready to be coaching a team that is competing to go to the World Cup. And with performances like these, if we're begging to go to the World Cup and we're hoping to go to the World Cup, we're hoping to go to the World Cup to an embarrassment because we shouldn't be there in the first place. And we can look ahead and say the next World Cup will be held in North America, and as such, Canada and Mexico and the United States, they'll qualify because they're the hosts, and the next few places will be up for grabs. So Jamaica should qualify easily. But also, we should also assess the situation and say, if we get there, will a performance be on the cards? Because if you're just going to the reason why we love 98 so much is because the guys who went there, they actually gave a performance. They actually gave us a show. I can't see these guys doing anything at the World Cup. I can't see them, if they make it to the World Cup by the grace of God. Pastor Stephen Blake said we need a miracle to get this team to the World Cup, and I don't think Theodore Whitmore is that miracle maker, right? I don't think he will make that miracle with these guys, right? So again, an awful performance. We have to live with it. We've grown so accustomed to failure in recent times, and Theodore Whitmore and Jamaican football, really, to the fans and to the vloggers and to the viewers, is like that girlfriend really that doesn't want you. She's not interested. That is football to Jamaican fans right now. We love it so much, but the love isn't reciprocated, and it continues to be heartbreak and a failure. I think the ship has sailed for Theodore Whitmore. The leeway that we've been giving him, the olive branches that we've stretched, the extra opportunities and the chances, the blight, whatever you want to call it, I think it's the end of the road, and I think he should be shown the door. What we saw at the National Stadium was, quite frankly, an insult to football. And as a result, I think it is the end of the road. Theodore Whitmore should be shown the door. Bye-bye, Theodore Whitmore. We wish you all the best in your future endeavor, but the Jamaican national team is not for you anymore. This team is bigger than you, and we'd like to see you go. The best thing you can do for Jamaican football right now is to submit your letter of resignation tomorrow morning. I think maybe 8:30 thereabout. Yeah, 8:30 thereabout would be it would be satisfying. 8:30, I'm thinking. Maybe you can wake up, you can make breakfast, and then you drop off the letter. We'll accept that. 9 o'clock stretch. All right. Thanks for tuning into this another episode. Like, share, subscribe. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Should Theodore Whitmore be given more time? Should he be given the game against Costa Rica? Should he be given the entire World Cup campaign to prove himself? Quite frankly, I think giving him the rest of the games is treading a thin line, because quite frankly, we'll have to wait another 4 years in order to get to the World Cup. This is the perfect opportunity for us to make it to the World Cup with this batch of players. Mikel Antonio, the next World Cup, I think he'll be 36 thereabout. Can't wait that long, folks. Can't wait that long. A lot of the players in the squad know they're high 20s, early 30s. Mariappa, for example, if we should wait until the next World Cup, chances are he won't be there. And he has been a diligent servant of the national program. So again, folks, let me know what you guys think in the comment section. If you agree, if you disagree, let me know. I appreciate it. Like, share, subscribe. Miranda Brown here saying, until next time. Bye-bye, Theodore, with more. It no pretty, no. It no pretty at all. It no pretty, no. It no pretty, no.